postseason series around as they lost their last matchup against the Bulls. Now the starting group for the Brooklyn Nets, presented by State Farm. Johnson, Wallace, the explosive set of wings. Evans is out there with Brook Lopez, and it's Williams at the point. And for Chicago, their front court, Lou Aldang, Carlos Boozer, and Joakim Noah in the middle. Heinrich is out there with Jimmy Butler. Evans with the steal. And the call will be against Joakim Noah. That is his first foul of the game. The Nets making a switch here. Humphries checked in. Now here is Humphries to the inside. Here's Wallace. Takes it into the teeth of the D and converts the way up. Here's Butler. 4-point game.
With the move to Brooklyn now complete, we can look back at how the Nets fared in terms of playoff appearances during their time in New Jersey. They did a decent job of getting to the playoffs while in New Jersey.
And Williams, here we go. They double him with Boozer. And Kirk Heinrich picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. About a minute played so far here in the first. Good, and it's Williams who picks up the assist. And it was hard, Steve, when the Nets were in the ABA. They won the 3 titles in 5 years.
Oh, get it!
Nasty.
And that look right there on Clark says it all.
He's not alone, Kevin. That was just mean right there.
And Boozer with the block.
Well, they're shooting 75% here early on, even with that miss.
Dang kicks to Boozer. Kicks it to Noah. Goes right up. Up and in on the way. Noah's got his second bucket.
And defensively, you've got to try to keep the ball on the perimeter.
Yeah, he's not going to miss those, not often anyway. The defense has to muscle up and deny him that position to have a chance.
But they recover it. Here's Lopez. That's good.
You know, it is really hard to miss shots that close to the basket.
Boy, just amazing the job that Tom Thibodeau has done for the Chicago Bulls. He took what was basically a 500 team and had them contending for a championship right away. And a guy long overdue, if you ask me, to get a chance as a head coach.
I'll go to Doris Burke, who spoke with Tom Thibodeau. Doris?
Kevin, he said he expects their interior defense to be airtight tonight. He said shot blocking is something our team can really hang its hat on. Shots inside frees us up to be more aggressive on the perimeter. That's really the foundation for us defensively. Guys, we'll see if they can build on that to secure the W.
All right, great stuff, Doris. Thanks. And guys, not too much of a surprise. The defense is going to be the emphasis.
Yeah, that's the type of team they are. And they always seem to feed off of that defense. They're just really trying to attack and force some turnovers and get out and run.
Exactly, Steve. I mean, that's really what drives them on a game-to-game basis.
And Coach Thibodeau, one of the foremost defensive minds, Steve, in the NBA. And boy, is he involved. You know, we've done games where you can hear him yelling on the sideline, patrolling the sideline, barking out those defensive instructions. And the players for the Bulls are like sponge kids at everything he says.
Yeah, he's so intense. And the thing that he always talks about is communicating defensively, which is such a big part of it. You know, talking on screens and letting your teammates know what's going on. He really is the first guy yelling on the sidelines, and his players pick up on that.
They keep going right back to the paint. And who can blame them? I mean, they're getting it done in there.
Yeah, 3 of their last 5 buckets, guys, have come from inside the lane area, so I'd expect them to continue to go inside right at the defense. So, guys, it's interesting. Carlos Boozer has been criticized at times in Chicago. Some fans felt that he wasn't living up to the big contract that he received, but he's still an excellent offensive player. You just can't really count on him as a weak side defender, but as a scorer and as an assist man, he can get the job done.
Now here's Williams. To the middle. Wallace, the pass to Brooks. Wallace with the screen for Brooks. Off target with the fadeaway. Going back to the high expectations for Boozer. I think the Bulls missing out on LeBron and missing out on D-Wade, and they might have been effective.
Kevin, you know, it's easy to forget that Boozer was a second-round pick back in share of arrows over the years, unfairly in my mind. But when you look at it in context, he's had an outstanding career.
Boy, they are really getting chewed up inside here. I mean, that's 8 of the last 10 points they've given up inside, in the paint.
Yeah, and the paint should be sacred ground for a defense. I mean, you can't let anybody just trot in there and get an easy bucket.
Kane can't get it to go. Brooklyn Nets come into this one after a win against the Detroit Pistons.
And Kevin, the starters didn't have too much pressure on them in that game because of how effective the bench guys were.
And another thing getting all those quality minutes from the reserves did was keep their starting 5 fresh for the second half.
Daquan Cook's checked in for the Bulls. Robinson comes in for Kirk Heinrich. And the Nets making a change here as well. Watson's checked in. Back to Wallace. He feeds it to Brooks. Layup off the pick. And that's 2 points on the layup.
Great pick, and that gave him enough space to get to the hoop and finish.
Robinson off the pick from Boozer. Hamilton outside. They set the pick. Boozer is screen on Brooks. Here's Hamilton. A rebound by the Nets.
You can see how much the defense respects him. I mean, they were all over him on that one.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
You know, in his day, Gerald Wallace was one of the best athletes in the NBA. I think he's lost a step, but you know, he's still a very explosive player, ability to get out in transition and just blow by slower defenders.
Catching up on the changes for Chicago. Muhammad comes in for Joakim Noah. And it's Bellinelli in for Richard Hamilton.
Well, you're not going to get a more high-quality look than that. Terrific offensive rebound there.
The Nets with the lead. There's a 4-second difference from the shot clock to the game clock. And Brooks gets it to go.
Powerful play. He had to fight his way all the way to the rim.
Taj Gibson's checked in for Brooklyn. The Nets have gone 1 for 2 on the night so far from the line.
Now, collectively, this is a 73% free throw shooting team.
You know, I know that's an aspect they've been trying to address as a team. I mean, they've got to get those free throw numbers up and improve.
Watson dishes to Black. The dish to Brooks. And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn.
That was your number. Give him a hand. Come on, Chicago.
Here's Lopez. And a miss there off the inbound.
Defensive
Foul. Marshawn Brooks gets the whistle backside. That is his first foul of the game. And his first quarter of play. We've seen plenty of offense so far.
More Bulls.
And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far. And guys, what stands out to you from the Nets in this one?
Well, the thing they tried to establish right away was the presence down low. You look at the points in the paint. I think that's been the difference.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you're not settling for the outside shots. I mean, go in there and get what you want. Keep attacking the rim.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups. Courtesy of Petering as the second quarter gets going. Shutting the floor for the Nets. Brook Lopez is out there with Bogans. Then it's Watson. And it's Marshawn Brooks. Last game for the Bulls, they picked up the W against the Washington Wizards.
They won that game at the offensive end, guys. It almost seemed like they got something out of every possession down the floor.
And Steve, the few times they did come up empty, it didn't really carry over. They never lost their momentum.
Brooklyn trailing.
You know, the Bulls have been a regular fixture in the playoffs since joining the league, literally. I mean, with the help of Michael Jordan, they have become, along with the Celtics and Knicks, one of the most storied franchises in the Eastern Conference.
And Gibson sends it back. They get it back. And it's a defensive 3-second violation. There were 6 banners hanging up in Chicago. The city's really cultivated a lot of pride and winning tradition here with the Bulls. And Steve, that goes a long way. You were a Bull player one time. You know all about that pride.
Yeah, no better place to play in the NBA than Chicago. When you're winning, the whole city loves it. Obviously, Michael Jordan was the main reason for that era. But so much history now for the Bulls, and they sell out game after game. Unbelievable fan support.
And the Bulls making a change here. Ben's checked in.
They can't seem to stop anybody inside.
They got to know that if they don't make life tougher in the paint, the opponent is just going to keep going there. I mean, it's not like they'll get tired of all these in-close opportunities. He's a guy that will take it right into the chief of the defense. A lot of his points come from inside of 5.
Williams gets a screen from Wallace. Williams can't hit.
And it is very dangerous to leave him open like that. Lucky break for the defense and he missed it.
The Bulls have gone a nice 3 of 3 to start the second.
Well, you know, NBA teams have always loved big...
Well, Robinson is a constant threat to heat up in a hurry, Kevin. He's one of those guys who has unlimited confidence, even when it's not quite warranted. He just gets out there, and he thinks he's going to make every shot, and he races around the floor and creates havoc. Great guy to have coming off your bench.
He's ideal to have coming off your bench. Instant energy. He'll do anything he needs to do to win, to help you win. Nate's competitive, and he's a terrific athlete. If he's not contributing with points, he'll be contributing with cheering. You got to love that about him. That enthusiasm is contagious.
Wallace kicks to Johnson. Oh, a nice defensive play to disrupt the alley-oop.
Joking Noah.
And that's a foul. Called on Chris Humphries. That's foul number 2 for him. Bulls making a switch here. Noah's checked in. Noah with a screen for Robinson. Dang can't get it to go.
So hard not to go for it when you see that chance at the alley-oop.
That he wishes he hadn't, though. Well, the D just letting them go inside with impunity. Way, way too easy.
That's 10 of their last 12 points now in the paint area.
Feeds to Gibson. He dishes it to Noah.
He's always going to have a difficult time finishing when the defense is in his face like that.
Williams kicks to Johnson. Oh, and they get in the way of the alley-oop. Not to be. Good play defensively. And it's out of bounds. The Nets will take it the other way. And a chance now to look at the small forwards who have been dominant this season offensively. 5th best, Luol Deng.
Those are some tremendous athletes, as we're used to seeing at that spot on the floor. You know, they can pretty much all give phenomenal individual performances on any given night.
And most nights, that's exactly what they do. Every team wants and needs scoring from the small forward position. All of the players on that list provide.
Great matchup here. This game has gone back and forth.
Multiple lead changes, just a great game, guys.
Chicago making some changes. Carlos Boozer's checked in for Gibson. Jimmy Butler comes in for Marco Bellinelli. It's Heinrich in for Nate Robinson. And the Nets making a change here as well. Brook Lopez is checked in for Andre Black. And the first time out of the game called for Chicago.
And this really is such an interesting time for the Nets because the move to Brooklyn, I think, has elevated the image of that franchise. You know, they used to be the little brothers to the Knicks and, you know, playing across the river in New Jersey. But now they basically are sharing the spotlight in the Big Apple, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Are doing rank-wise in the NBA. 8th in rebounding, 8th in assists, and they're in the top 10 in opponent field goal percentage. That's pretty good company. It points out the fact that they do prioritize the defensive end.
And the rebounding is really the key stat that I'm looking at right there with all those numbers you talked about, Clark. This is a team that really tries to be physical, and they're able to secure boards. That does a lot of things for them. It helps their defense, keeping teams from getting second chance opportunities against them, and it fuels their fast break.
Use that pick to get in close. Yeah, Nets are now in one of the premier locations, Steve, for any sports franchise, even if it was a short move. And I think, Clark, with that move, the whole mindset has seemingly changed.
Well, you can certainly call them a big market team now, and a lot of free agents will probably be interested in signing there. So definitely they've got a working advantage in their favor now.
And so he hits the technical free throw. The Nets making a switch here. Bogans is checked in. Got a piece of it. And so it looks like the Bulls will retain possession here. And now let's check out the standings in the Eastern Conference and see how the playoff race is shaping up. Taking a look at Brooklyn and checking out Brooklyn, tied up with them. Here's Boozer and rim-rattling two-handed jam.
You know, the dunk was great, but I didn't care for that interior defense there, guys. It was non-existent.
You're right, Clark. You know, it was way too easy. I don't think the coach is even looking at it.
It doesn't get much easier than that. They have got to tighten up their defense. That was embarrassing.
Johnson, the pass to Lopez. Pushes it down.
That's where he's been doing damage. Again and again, he keeps taking it inside and handling his business.
Back to Heinrich. The shot from the low post is good. 52 seconds left in the first half of the game. Williams, that's a two-pointer. He drains the quick shot. Williams has got 4 this quarter. Outside Butler. Back to Heinrich. It's the lead pass. Dang dishes to Noah. He passes it to Boozer. Marked down low that time, and he got the 3-second call. Some changes for Brooklyn. Reggie Evans, he's checked in for Bogans. And it's Marshawn Brooks in for Joe Johnson. Joseph sets a screen for Williams. Evans, he's covered by Boozer. And Joseph kicks to Williams. Down low. Here's Evans. Good, and it's Williams who picks up the assist. Williams has got 6 assists now in the game. On the wing, Dang. Shoots the 3. Good, and Heinrich gets the assist. Heinrich's got 6 assists now in the game. Now Williams. With 1 on the clock. Hits it.
That builds a little momentum going into the next quarter.
Second quarter ends in a tight one. 30 Nets out in front, up by 4. Folks, stick around here at halftime for the halftime show with Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half. And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first. Third quarter starting here now. It's been a clinic from Brook Lopez.
Normally, he's not the guy at the top of the list who you think of when it comes to scoring, but he's had a great game here.
Yeah, you know what? He's kind of like found money, you know, when you sometimes stumble upon a few bucks in your pocket, you don't know where it came from, but you're glad to have it.
Luol Deng, Carlos Boozer, and Joakim Noah the front line. Jimmy Butler is out there with Heinrich, so that's who Tom Thibodeau starts the second half with. Good. 9 points for Carlos Boozer.
Well, none of the defenders were quick enough to step out and get a hand in his face on that jump shot. Big mistake there. Carlos Boozer is a guy who increasingly over the years has leaned on that jump shot. He could always make the shot, but early on in his career spent more time down on the block. Now with Chicago, we see him more at that elbow area.
And it's good. And that's now 11 points for Luol Deng.
Now they'll take as many of those high percentage shots as they can get, guys.
And Kirk Heinrich picks up the foul. That's foul number 2 for him. Bellinelli, he's checked in for Jimmy Butler. Then for the Nets, Humphries comes in for Reggie Evans. And it's Wallace in for Joseph. Lopez inside, covered by Noah. He's again. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
It didn't take long for Brook Lopez to become a factor in the middle. As soon as he came into this league, he was scoring and rebounding at a pretty good rate. You know, you watch him, he's not overwhelming, but he's got a nice set of low post moves, and he's athletic enough to get those shots off from either block.
Something else with Brooks, Steve, is he's such a consistent player that it's very hard for him to have an off game. His game doesn't fluctuate a whole lot. He's pretty steady. He'll find a way to score either from the line, with his excellent free throw shooting, or with his back to the basket. You know, guys, for Carlos Boozer, using that jump shot that you mentioned, I think helped him blend better with Joakim Noah. They can both bang inside, but Boozer has the ability to step out and be effective. And I think it opened up things for him offensively, but also also for Joakim Noah to get to that offensive glass, too.
The feed to Noah. Can't get it to go. And it's the Nets taking it the other way.
Solid advantage of the rebounding totals for them so far here.
You know, in every game, but particularly in a close game, every little advantage you can use helps, and they're certainly enjoying one on the glass here.
And here we go, the Bulls fast break. And the call will be against Will Wolf. That is his first foul of the game. Daquan Cook's checked in for the Bulls. And a change for the Nets. Watson's checked in. And there's the pass to Boozer. Here's Noah. Another shot. The rebound by Humphries. Humphries has got 4 rebounds in this game. And he commits the intentional foul.
I have no idea why he was fouling there.
And even the foul, I mean, you can't be wrapping guys up like that. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. That's a meaningless play.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Taj Gibson's checked in for Boozer. And Nate Robinson is subbed in for Kirk Heinrich.
That's going to be important for this team to fight over the top of screens defensively.
Yeah, you got to tag him and stay right close to him because with his touch, he doesn't need much space to get a shot off.
He kicks to Bellinelli. Gibson with a screen on Johnson. Gibson setting the pick for Robinson. Outside, Bellinelli.
That's exactly how you win a rebound battle. Get good position and then use your strength to hold on to that position.
14 feet away. Wallace, the pass to Lopez. Chicago grabs the miss. Cook's got 3 rebounds so far in the game.
Again, they attack the hoop from the lane. It's been really good to them.
Yeah, they're getting whatever they want now. That's 4 of their last 5 buckets coming in the paint area.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over.
Well, what can I say about Joe Johnson? I know he's an enigma to some, but he's one of my favorite players to watch. A big guy for a wing player at 6'7", probably about 240 pounds, chiseled up, and just a tremendous skill level. He can really do it all, especially offensively.
Chicago making some changes. Muhammad comes in for Joakim Noah. And Richard Hamilton is subbed in for Bellinelli. Andre Blatch, he's checked in for Brooklyn. Williams comes in for C.J. Watson. This is to Gibson. Goes up, and he makes good on the layup. And Joe Johnson, a good athlete, not a guy with blow-by speed, but with his size and ball handling ability. You know, Steve, he can just play over the top of most defenders. He's so long.
Yeah, Johnson can get his shot just about any time he wants, Kevin. It's the length. It's also the strength. I mean, he's got such a strong body and good ball handling ability, as you said. So he gets his hip on you when he has the ball. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Luol Deng is checked in for Chicago.
Really strong performance by them so far on the glass.
You know, the lead they have in the rebounding category is also part of the reason they're on top on the scoreboard as well.
Deng off the pick from Robinson. A timely screen, gave him a step, and he took it all the way.
3 straight buckets in the paint. They're making it look effortless.
Well, speaking of effortless, we'd like to see a little more out of the defense. So how about trying, guys?
That one goes. Count.
You know, he's given them a nice scoring option through most of this game.
Alley-oop pass. And it's out of bounds. The Nets will take it the other way.
Now we have a chance to check out some of the numbers for Darren Williams. 5th in assists, 12th in free throw percentage, and he's in the top 15 in points per game. So he's a guy you have to account for defensively.
And, you know, we'd be remiss not to say a word about his outstanding assist ranking. Come on now. I mean, this guy is one of the top assist men in the game and doing it with flair and fundamental soundness. That's special.
That's going to be important for this team to fight over the top of screens defensively.
Yeah, you got to tag him and stay right close to him because with his touch, he doesn't need much space to get his shot off.
Robinson with it. Williams picks him up. And there's the 3-second call. This one on the defense. Bulls shooting their 4th attempt at the free throw line right here.
Yeah, guys, they can feel very good about themselves when you bring up those statistics. Impressive numbers.
And the technical free throw is good. And the Bulls making a change here. Butler's checked in. The Nets also changing it up. Reggie Evans, who's checked in for Humphries. Joseph comes in for Gerald Wallace. And it's Marshawn Brooks in for Joe Johnson. The Bulls have shot 75% at the line tonight, going 3 for 4.
Well, solid numbers for this club from the free throw line this season, shooting about 77% collectively.
C.J. Watson, he's checked in for Darren Williams. 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Here's Evans. Joseph, that's good. And the Nets lead by 7.
Heard the whistle and still kept his focus, able to knock that down.
And that is not easy, Steve. I mean, to take the bump, to maintain control of your body, and put it in the hole, tremendous play.
The Bulls have gone a solid 6 of 11 when shooting here in the third quarter. Butler dishes to Robinson. Passes it to Deng. Robinson sets a screen for Deng. Deng off the pick from Robinson. 2 on the clock. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
Easy call there.
No question about that one. You can hear the impact from where I am.
He hits the second from the line. And a great show through 3 quarters as we enter the fourth. Nets leading by 7. On the court for the Nets, getting the fourth quarter going. Evans is out there at watch. And it's Marshawn Brooks. And it's Chris Joseph. And it's Watson in at the 1. And there's the call by the official. They'll count the basket here following the goaltending call.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
Yeah, the fans not agreeing with the call there.
Well, that's one way to get a reaction from the fans, guys.
Inside Deng. Pass to Noah. And strong with the one-handed jam.
Man, they are both lighting it up here.
Exciting basketball, Steve. I mean, it's been back and forth, each side dropping in points every chance they get.
Brooks gets the screen from Joseph. Joseph sets a screen for Blotch. Working on Noah. Shot clock at 6. The shot by Blotch, no good. Bulls trail by 7. Robinson kicks to Deng. And so it looks like the Bulls will retain possession here. So for the Nets, Humphries comes in for Reggie Evans. And it's Johnson in for Marshawn Brooks. 1 minute now into this fourth quarter. Deng with the bucket.
And can you ever remember him getting his confidence shaken? I mean, it just doesn't seem like he's ever bothered by any adversity or any pressure.
He's very much a student of the game in terms of getting to know the tendencies of whichever player he's guarding on any given night and then gearing his defensive game plan to do what he needs to do to stop him.
On the wing, Johnson. Open look.
You know, this half hasn't been as successful for him as the first. He's having difficulty getting it to fall.
Deng passes to Gibson. Takes it up. And the shot is good.
Something has to change, guys. That's 10 straight points coming in the paint against this team.
Well, they got to collapse in there, and everybody's got to be conscious of it. It's a team effort in protecting the paint. Control the ball, and then everybody's got to get in there and keep the defense locked down.
The Nets making a switch here. Wallace is checked in. The way up missed.
That's an easy shot there. That's a shot that he should make more often than not.
Kept alive. Robinson kicks to Gibson. Second chance shot. Chris Humphries comes up with the rebound. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Stolen away. Nice job to interrupt the alley-oop attempt there. Tries for the alley-oop. And out of bounds as the Nets gain possession.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
Daquan Cook's checked in for Luol Deng. Then for the Nets, Joseph, he's checked in for Humphries. Williams is subbed in for C.J. Watson.
Boy, in a close game especially, those plays really hurt.
Bellinelli, he's checked in for the Bulls. Keith Bogans, he's checked in for the Nets. Marshawn Brooks comes in for Joe Johnson. And it's out of bounds. The Nets will take it the other way.
Boy, that's embarrassing, guys. He's going to have a hard time living that one down later when they watch it on tape.
The Bulls making a switch here. Boozer's checked in. Williams with the ball. Robinson picks him up. Nice shot by Brooks.
Well, it wasn't a textbook pick, but he still managed to score. Good concentration on the finish.
And that one falls for Brooks.
They didn't shoot it well from the line in the first half. But they've turned it around here, and it's helped them secure the lead. I mean, free throw shooting is important when you're trying to pad a lead. Ammonia strong finish right there, partner. You hear me? That was ammonia strong.
Yeah, ripped it down with two hands.
That's about as high percentage as you can get.
Timeout called, the Nets. Robinson. And the Nets also making a change. Brook Lopez is checked in for Andre Black. All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
I was able to listen in on what the Nets coach was going over with his team. It was a pretty upbeat look. He said, I'll bet they won't take us lightly next time, guys. Clearly, he was aware of their underdog status coming into this basketball game.
All right, Doris, thank you very much.
Offensively, just hammering away at the paint.
And that's 10 straight points inside, too.
Williams kicks to Lopez. Can't hit. And Chicago will go the other way with the ball. Heinrich against Williams. And Wallace with the block. And he gets it back. Noah's shot is off. The Nets have gone just 33% from the field in the fourth quarter so far. They are 2 of 6. Brooks dishes to Lopez. Lays it in without an inch of room around him. Lopez has got 19 points. Bulls trail by 4. Boozer a screen on Williams. Kicks to Cook. There's the triple. And out of bounds is the next game possession. C.J. Watson. He's checked in for the Nets. Timeout called, the Nets.
Yeah, guys, I think he feels like he can make a few improvements during this timeout. Just kind of make a couple of adjustments, get his club back on track.
You know, coaches are always tweaking and tinkering with things mid-game. Actually, sometimes they overdo it.
Luol Deng is checked in for the Bulls. Then, for the Nets, Joseph comes in for Gerald Wallace. And Darren Williams is subbed in for C.J. Watson. Nets leading by 4. Here's the screen. Here's Williams. From the top of the key, he buries it. The Bulls have gone 5 of 10, 50% from the field. Heinrich with it. Williams picks him up. And the shot is good. And that's now 19 points for Luol Deng. The Nets have gone 4 of 8 in this fourth quarter, shooting an even 50% from the field. Here's Pogans. They'll get another chance.
And one of the keys for this team is securing defensive rebounds. Keep them off the offensive glass.
Well, that's the period for the sentence of your defense. Rebounding the ball.
He feeds it to Bellinelli. All sorts of time. And a great assist by Heinrich as that one goes in. And that bucket ignites the crowd.
Crucial bucket there, and you hear it in their reaction.
And you can feel the energy throughout this building right now. What a huge shot.
Is Williams. And it's good. He planted his feet on the pick and shielded the defender off.
Not much resistance for him after that pick, Kevin. I mean, he had all sorts of space to hit the shot.
And the dunk by Boozer.
I like that one-handed spike right there.
Well, that's how it's done.
Yes, sirree.
Yeah, he's not going to miss many of those.
Williams gets a screen from Joseph. The open shot. Williams. Brooks the pass to Lopez. He hangs. Shot is off. And it's Chicago the other way.
He's laboring out there right now. It's a shot that's not been falling for him this quarter.
Chris Humphries is checked in for the Nets. Wallace comes in for Joseph.
Looking at the game for Noah, he's got 8 points, and he hasn't forgotten to get his teammates involved either.
Well, that's important, Clark. I mean, he's conscious of the fact that moving the ball around gets the defense to move. It forces them to work, and it creates a better offensive flow for his own team.
So for the Bulls, Charles Gibson's checked in for Boozer. Hamilton comes in for Marco Bellinelli. And Lee Robinson is subbed in for Brooklyn. Joe Johnson, he's checked in for Brooklyn. And it's Brook Lopez with the foul. 2 shots. So that will be his second foul of the game. We're in the bonus, and we'll go to the line to shoot 2. He hits the first one, and that ties the game up. Andre Blatch, he's checked in for Brook Lopez. And so both free throws good that time, and that puts him ahead.
You just knew he wasn't going to miss there, not with so much riding on it.
Blatch sets the pick for Williams. The dish now to Wallace.
Came through there with a key basket.
Yeah, that was huge. Stepping up when it matters most.
On the wing gang. Gibson with the screen on Wallace. Noah drives in. Foul on the dunk. A chance for 2 at the line.
Saved a likely dunk there.
Yeah, very smart foul under the circumstances. You can't allow him to just throw it down there.
And so making both free throws. That'll give them the lead here.
Critical for him to knock down those free throws, guys. They had to come away with the lead on that trip.
And Luol Deng gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. Williams gets over the watch. Back to Williams. Feeds it to Humphrey. Gibson on him. Johnson.
And that's what you love to do as the road team, Kevin. Hit the big shot just to take this crowd right out of it.
Well, they've done that for sure.
They sure have. That shot right there had a huge effect on this crowd.
Chicago calls timeout. What do you think, guys?
They don't have enough time here to catch and shoot. Their only hope is to try to tip it in off the inbound pass. That's always a difficult shot.
I'm seeing red tonight. Let's go.
And so it's Brooklyn who scrapes by with the win. Clark, it was anybody's game right to the very end.
Yeah, it was. The coach is happy with the outcome, but maybe not so much with the margin.
Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as we leave, we give you our Jordan Player of the Game, Carlos Boozer.